Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. This is the Meet the Author session. We're going to have a live chat, and then after that, we'll do a book signing. I'm here with three of our authors. They will talk about the latest two books that we just launched, and we hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Here to Ben.
Hey everybody, we're going to be talking with y'all about two books. We have Building AI Intensive Python Applications and Full Stack FastAPI, React, and MongoDB. And to talk about these books, we have three of the authors, myself, Ben. We also have Sig and Shubham. So first, let's chat a little bit about the Building AI Intensive Python Application book. So we wrote this book because it is now easier than ever to build intelligent applications. And this is because of the recent rise of some AI models, things like LLM, often accessed via API through services like OpenAI, but also other providers such as AWS with Bedrock, Microsoft Azure, Google Vertex, and many more. And to build these intelligent applications, it's largely building upon the existing full stack set of technologies that as a software developer, you very well might be familiar with. Things like building front ends with frameworks like React and JavaScript, servers, frameworks like FastAPI, Shubham will talk about in a bit, and DB databases like, of course, MongoDB. Then layered on top of this full stack technology, we have our AI APIs. And together, we can use these to do things like prompt engineering or directing large language models to produce outputs the way that you expect, retrieval augmented generation, often called RAG, where you augment the output of these AI models with retrieved content using tools like MongoDB's Atlas Vector Search. And to make sure that everything is working the way that you expect, you want to evaluate how these AI systems are performing as well. And in this book, we cover all of these different topics and how you can incorporate them into your full stack application using MongoDB. Now I'm going to turn it over to Sig to talk a bit more about MongoDB and building AI applications.
All right, thanks, Ben. So hello, everyone. Actually, let me go to the next slide. So following up on what Ben said, there was one chapter in particular that I had a lot of, I'm going to say, first of all, curiosity about writing, and that is the application design chapter. And being a former full stack developer, technical architect, etc., in my role, I still work with customers, but I don't write code 8 hours a day, obviously. I was immediately intrigued as to what changes when you're now designing and thinking about large-scale applications that are going to use AI, vectors, LLMs, embedding models, and so on. And so in the chapter, what I did is use a fictional news website called MDN, Mongo Developer News, think of medium.com or Stack Overflow, etc., and guide you through all the aspects of defining your data model, sizing the cluster, thinking about data flow, security, and even day two operations. And so first we start off with defining the data model for what a news article looks like, adding a simple embedded vector, but then evolve the model because we need to add multiple vectors. For example, when you use multimodal models, right? For example, if you've ever heard of OpenAI Clip, right, or OpenClip, it's a embedding model that can take an image and also generate text, and you can search images using text and vice versa, right? So imagine you can now, as an editor, search for articles, find me articles that have similar images or have these exact images across my years and years and years of published articles. And so I kind of use that in the chapter to build a model. And once we have the model, then we can use that as a basis for sizing. And sizing doesn't mean how much disk do I need. It means what is my Atlas cluster tier? How much CPU, RAM, IOPS? How many read replicas do I need, and so on and so on. Because this application, this fictitious application, is supposed to be a global news website. So you see there in the diagram, we actually finished with a cluster configuration that's going to have read replicas across Asia Pacific, America, and Europe, including vector search nodes, analytical nodes, and other things. I also talk about day two concerns. For example, what happens when OpenAI retires a model? For example, Ada 02 was retired, well, not retired, but deprecated, still around, but you can still, but it doesn't, it's not that is model, and now replaced by the embedding small and large models, which actually have a different vector size. What happens then? What happens to your existing data that's been already previously embedded, and how do you go about that, and so on and so on. So that's what this chapter is about, and my goal here is to obviously, hopefully equip you to have those concerns in mind as you design your real world large-scale Gen AI applications. Alrighty? And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Shubham. Actually, before that, I need to finish this. Forgot about that. So here is the TOC of the book, and we did three parts. The first part is the foundationals. So we obviously explained the LLMs, embedding models, and do the design part of the book. Then part two is really more hands-on, really more about building with lots of code examples. All code is available on GitHub, by the way. By every chapter is laid out. And then part three is really about optimizing. So how do you, for example, evaluate LLM output? How do you correct and fine-tune your prompts and other aspects like that, right? That are considered also day two concerns. Alrighty? So we hope you enjoy the book. It's got lots of functionality and lots of features for you to really learn about what it takes to build AI applications. And now I'm going to pass it over to Shubham.
Thanks, Hey everyone, my name is Shubham. I'm a product manager at MongoDB for Python. I also work a lot on vector search and AI. I'm one of the co-authors for both the books. Before we dive into it, quick show of hands, how many of you have heard of FarmStack? Okay, we got a couple of people. How many of you have heard of Mean and Mern Stack? All right, good. All right, so quick selling pitch. We believe that FarmStack is going to be the next big thing. And then I'm going to spend next 5-10 minutes talking about why we believe so. So as you know, Python is the center stage for everything happening in the AI ML space. So there's a lot of attention on Python. We are also seeing there's a lot of web application getting built in Python because you have your whole AI stack layer being developed in Python. Why not build on top of Python as well when it comes to building web applications? So FarmStack consists of FastAPI, React, and MongoDB. I'm pretty sure you all are very familiar with MongoDB. React has been around for a long time. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking more about FastAPI and why we believe FastAPI is so crucial. So lately, Python has been getting a lot of attention because of the AI ML space. Speed has been increasing. There is a lot of attention on a language called Mojo, which is supposed to be the successor of Python. It brings you the speed of, I think, almost on par with Rust. So Python is making many, many strides. Now it also has a modern backend framework like FastAPI. And I'll talk more about why it's so amazing. So FastAPI came around in 2018. And FastAPI is a very lightweight web backend framework. It is asynchronous. It is, it has API-generated documentation powered by Swagger UI. And it also has Pydantic, support for Pydantic, which will basically let you do data validation and everything. So it lets you quickly spin up a modern, performant web application in a spin. In this particular book, what we have covered is web development and the FarmStack, how you can develop modern web application using FarmStack. We then dive a little bit into setting up the MongoDB database, Atlas, Compass, and other MongoSH tools that you've been installing. Then we talk a little bit about Python type hints and Pydantic, how you can use type hints and Pydantic to enforce data integrity in your application. And then we dive deeper into getting started with FastAPI, just for context. So when FastAPI launched in 2018, by 2020, according to the Stack Overflow survey, its popularity stood at 12%. And in comparison, Django and Flask, which has been around for a long time, their popularity was 43%, somewhere around that number. Come 2023, the popularity of FastAPI has jumped to 27%, and Django and Flask stands at 33%. So you can see how quickly FastAPI grew in the Python space in just a span of like 5-6 years. So in the next chapter, you'll see setting up a React workflow. We talk about basics of React, setting up a basic React app. We talk about React webhooks and all the React components. And then we go into authentication, authorization with FastAPI. In next chapter, we cover setting up a full-fledged backend with FastAPI, and then we build the front end for a project that is being covered in the book. In chapter 9, then we cover third-party services like OpenAI as well, how you can use LLMs to hook up LLM to your FastAPI app to do some sort of generative work. And then in chapter 10, we cover web development and Next.js and how you can use all these technologies to improve the performance of your web application. And then chapter 11, we just cover some best practices for FastAPI, React, and MongoDB. Yes, that's about it. What should be the next?
Well, we did want to give away also discount codes. So obviously, you will get a copy. Here we are going to do the book signing. But should you want to buy more for your colleagues at work and so on, want to put this slide up with discount codes directly from Packet, who is our publisher. So please take a picture of that. Those are 2 books that we have, as well as books that we published before. And
Thank you, guys. Just some guidelines. So we are going to start the book signing now. If you have a headphone, please start forming the line and keep your headphone. We'll take your headphone and we'll take you the headphones and give you a book. Just start forming alignment. Thank you.